12,190 pounds, big Chaparral 4-slide middle bunkhouse coming in on trade here at Haylett RV of Coldwater, Michigan. You will see a couple areas, like the middle bunkhouse, has been modified from factory standard. The original factory sofas and recliners or theater seats have been removed. This was used for full-time living. The folks used her, obviously, quite a bit, being a full-time rig. Installed a Combo-Matic washer-dryer also along with that, so they didn't have to rely on laundry mats. And just decided to update, upgrade, swap up, and swap out. With the slides closed up, you can't get to anything in the living room. You can get to the middle bonus room, the bathroom, the bedroom, no sweat. So we're not going to worry about taking a look at that with the slides closed, because all you'd see is the side of a slide out. Again, this was used for full-time RVing, and it was used a great deal. I am always all about full disclosure on these RV video tours. So with that in mind, I want to mention the fact that it's essentially like imperceptible on camera. And understand, I'm about a 200-pound guy, but there are some what I call spongy spots on this flooring. Like I'm on one right here. Now, I mean, it's fine, guys. It's fine. But if you walk on it, you go, huh, oh, okay. You know, it's okay. It's not ideal. It's okay. And trust me, we take things like that into account when assigning price tags here at Haylett RV. Similarly, they replaced the standard RV furniture, which they probably used up very quickly since it's intended for casual use and not full-time use, with residential recliners and a giant rear residential like futon-style hide-a-bed. So, you know, there's non-standard things here. They replaced the factory valances, little things like that. But there's nothing wrong with what's here. It is. So, just want to point those things out. And again, we will see where the middle bunk room was modified into more of a personalized bedroom for the previous owner's kiddo there. And, I mean, there's nothing here that's, like, super scary to me. Just, you know, it's kind of been used more than it was originally expected to be used. And there's a little bit of sign of that. Things that would normally creep through over time. But just like your car, if you won't, like my car is a 2013 and it's starting to show its age, those kind of things. What's nice about a mid-bunk bonus room like this is you actually get a nice living room in a bunkhouse. And that is something that, you know, bunkhouses don't traditionally provide, is a nice living area. Now the color palette in here is pretty good. It has like a country home sort of color palette. And that TV can swing around if you want it to. Big, you know, next to any of the seating, there are some big breeze windows here. So if you really want to get some great views of your destination, you've got obviously just windows all around the door side to do that, which also allows for some pretty excellent, you know, breezes. You know, again, it throws people off, like they get spooked by the fact that these aren't the original factory seats. But understand, these are now residential grade chair fixtures. And in a lot of ways, that actually is an improvement over what could have been there from the factory. Now, they've been used quite a bit, but frankly, they're holding up just fine because they're a little heavier grade. They're also a little heavier weight than a lot of RV furniture. The original hardwood dinette is here because it takes quite a bit to ruin a hardwood dinette, so it's doing just fine. There is an extension leaf there if need be. We already talked about all the windows on the door side. This RV does have 2 air conditioners. The bedroom AC is non-ducted. It was added after the RV was built. This was built, you know, to be able to accommodate 2 airs, but the original selling dealer must not have, you know, originally equipped it that way. You might notice a little lighter color peninsula, almost island situation going on here. Again, it's got a little more of that sort of country home look and feel to it, and I just noticed they also had replaced and updated the microwave as well. Let's take a look at all the cabinetry in here, shall we? Everything is very, like, you know, campsite cook-centric. It all wraps around whoever's tucked away in the corner of that peninsula doing the campsite cooking. Obviously, something else I like, if you notice, and they really show up well against those that white cabinet and that light color wallboard there, easy reach appliance outlets. That's a nice feature. Over here, we have some pretty stellar pantry space. Previous owners also added a whole bunch of these aftermarket slide-out little storage trays to make accessing a lot of that storage a little more easy. Again, this is not the standard factory microwave that has been updated to something a little more residential in grade. The flush mount stove cover here, maximizing your prep space. Another thing I've noticed, I don't have it on right now because I wanted to remind myself, there's switches for the overhead lights all over the place. So you never have to go through, go click, 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 click. It's always easy to reach. It just has a little more of a home-like feel. Even a drawer below the oven, which is a nice touch. I see brands like Jayco do that quite a bit also. Their Eagles are really on point. Floor to ceiling pantry over here with some bonus overhead space. You might need a 2 or 3 stepper to get to them, but hey, the fact is, it's there. The power outlet over there against the wall would be just absolutely ideal for something like a coffee bar. You can see how we've got a solid surface countertop here in the kitchen. High-rise sprayer faucet that is a stone cast sink, if you're not aware of what that means. This is not a plastic sink that we're peeking at down in there. It is got like a stone shell material rated for up to 500 degrees of heat exposure. It's pretty nice stuff, but it's actually still pretty lightweight. Kind of like that pantry where the folks added those handy little like wire mesh sort of drawers. They added a bunch of those down here under the sink where some people might put a wastebasket to really maximize their storage space. There is, still a nice pocket down here for a smaller wastebasket. I do like that little utensil drawer right there under the sink. But if you need a bigger place for a bigger wastebasket, since this living room is so wide open, you got plenty of space off the end of that peninsula to do it. Moving forward, in the middle here, we'll find ourselves in what you call either the bunk room, the bonus room, the office, the den, the whatever. And this room has been modified to a degree. So normally what you would find is one bed above and a big bed below. Obviously that's not the case. They modified it to have a little more personal storage for their more full-time use and purposes. The lower bunk can still flip up out of the way a little bit if you want to just kind of maximize some living space. Obviously, they added the plastic little, personal drawer things and whatnot. You will still see the signature of where the folks took the original things out of the wall, but what I actually kind of like is they left all the hardware in place, so that you can always see where there are studs and backers in the wall. Now, I've noticed around the RV, there's a bunch of the little sort of live, laugh, love kind of, stick-on decals to personalize things a little bit. Again, this was more than just a camper to them. This was more of their house. And I don't know this, but I suspect that maybe this was a daughter's room. And I suspect that because I know that we decorate my daughter's room, very different from the rest of our house as well. Obviously, they put the little TV in here for entertainment time. And I will say, this middle room has some pretty good storage of its own. And that's what's kind of neat. Like, if you were planning on getting a fifth wheel and you like the middle bunk idea for the purposes of making it an office, because this RV has been modified from original factory spec, that does have an impact on its asking price. Typically, that will tend to bring the price down a little bit versus something that's still in standard factory condition. Well, if you go remodifying it, you're really not going to take the ding on that. So, this would be a good one if you want to convert it into sort of an office arrangement. This bathroom here, really kind of first popularized by the Keystone Montana series, has been kind of borrowed, copied, and pasted into almost every brand of fifth wheel built today. Something very similar to this is really the predominant bathroom arrangement in the industry, and for good reason. It's great. It gives you that nice big shower. You never feel like you're, cramped in here. Previous owners looks like they had updated or maybe upgraded, replaced the original toilet, because I can see some reseal work done around the base of it there. And decent amount of linen space in here. It gets the job done. Gets the job done pretty well. Now again, up here in the bedroom, you can see how they did add that second air conditioner after the RV was first built. This one was built with a king bed in here, so you do have that nice 70 by 80 king bed sleeping space. And you guys remember The Legend of Zelda when you discovered a secret and it would play that little wind chime note? I feel like I hear that every time I slide that panel sideways and I find that combo washer dryer stuffed up into the nose of this thing. That's what they didn't like retrofit that. They didn't jury rig this thing. It was made to be that way. That's where the washer dryer prep exists in a Chaparral front end. So they actually split the closets on either side, and you can see how the previous owners actually did put the washer dryer into this one. And again, you've got some pretty awesome storage, and I like how it's split like that. More of a, you know, a true separated sort of couples thing. I was actually very surprised when my wife and I moved into a new house this last winter. She was shockingly generous with the closet space that she offered me. And similarly, I have an entire dresser just to myself, and she has one to herself. I didn't expect that to be the case, but hey, I married her for a reason. She's pretty awesome. We are a Coachmen dealer here at Haylett RV, though we don't happen to carry the Chaparral line. That being said, I know my way around it because we carry some things that are related to it in a sense. We are a Cougar dealer, which this would, you know, it's kind of the Coachmen Cougar in a sense. Cougar has found a little more success in the marketplace, but these definitely have some cool aspects of their own. So if you're not familiar with Chaparral, but you watch a lot of our videos, watch a Cougar video, and then watch a Freedom Express video, and then imagine they had a baby. And that's kind of what this is. So, you know, it's kind of the size and the shape of a Cougar, but it has Asdel under the fiberglass skin, kind of like a Freedom Express, and it has a laminated floor, like a Freedom Express. It also has something I noticed here that you don't typically find in what's called a mid-profile, and that is a larger 10-gallon water heater. So that will give you roughly 20 to 22 gallons per hour of recovery, assuming you're running gas and electric simultaneously for fast recharge. A simple but effective enclosed docking station. I like how this door swings open to get in here, so you don't have to duck under the bedside. And an easy, handy, battery disconnect right there. As long as I'm this close, we'll take a little trip down. We'll look at the underbelly. You're not going to see much because naturally it's enclosed. Like pretty much any fifth wheel with a bed slide at this point in the marketplace. This does have a fair insulation package. It should achieve 0-degree ratings. I can't imagine it wouldn't. The decals, the skin, all look good. So even though this was used a lot, it was pretty much always outside. It was kept cleaned and conditioned with regularity. One thing that really does surprise me on this 41-foot tip-to-tail behemoth is the lack of auto leveling. It's power stabilizers in the back only, which really kind of surprised me. But frankly, it doesn't really bother me. RVs and fifth wheels existed for like 40 plus years without auto leveling, and we all got along just fine. Suddenly somebody one day went, oh my God, if we don't have auto leveling, we're all gonna die. I think everyone's gonna be okay. One more thing I just noticed. I noticed it on the way down the ladder. This is not the original ladder. This is a replacement ladder, and you can see where the original stanchions, or mounts basically, were in the side of the RV. Now there's no voids, no concern that I have with any of that. My guess is, being full-timers, they used it a lot and they bumped something, or someone bumped them. But it looks fine. No real major concern on anything there, but hey, you know, it's your guys' decision what you're comfortable with and not. Obviously, I just went way out of my way to show you something that, you know, you probably wouldn't have known about or thought about or cared about. But I still showed you because I think you deserve to know about it. So if you appreciate that kind of, you know, decency in business, where tens of thousands of dollars are exchanged, you know, per transaction, well, then give us a call here at Haylett RV, guys. Obviously, we're not going to give you the runaround. You see, the thing is, though, there's still no manual cranking required here. You level front to back with your front jacks. The front jacks are actually considered leveling jacks. They're a higher, stronger grade. And then all you do, you push the button to drop the rear stabilizers down just to keep it from doing this. That's all there is to it. So once again, we've got viewing and breeze windows all around the living room, including the slide side, which this slide, by the way, like a Freedom Express, has a seal gripping, rough textured slide wall so that it always grabs that wiper seal and does its job. And then we have up here, I don't know if I'd call it an outside kitchen. I'd call it like a campsite convenience station or something like that. You do have a grill hookup down here. I wonder if there was originally a drawer here or something, but I don't see any hardware for it. But the fact is, you got a little storage pocket, got a handy little shelf up here, and you got Dad's medicine cabinet where you can keep the barley pop and bottled water, maybe a wine cooler, however, you know, you do your thing, that's fine. Slam latch baggage doors, and you see the really aggressive cutaway on that nose cap. If you have a traditional short bed, then you should be able to achieve a 90-degree turn on flat ground. I'm going to throw that caveat out there, without a really heavy-duty, expensive slider hitch. Now, you notice how I put some caveats in there. Well, see, the thing is, guys, on flat ground, a turn in radius is really not a serious concern. It's when you're like on an angle and pulling up and down a hill, like such as when you go over that big hump into a gas station. That's where stuff bumping. Now I also said standard short bed, meaning 6.5 foot. Some people call that a standard bed now. Well, if you have one of those 5.5 foot shorter than short beds, you're definitely going to want to get specialty hitching. The roof is rather plain, with frankly very little to report, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. That means that there's also no like damage, no patches. No, nothing like that. It looks like these are still the original factory seals. And as I mentioned on the sidewalls, they obviously were on top of a regular cleaning and conditioning regimen. And that seems to have generally applied to the roof as well. I don't see any areas of concern. All the seals that I see look good. I don't even see something where I'm going to say, like, yeah, you might want to keep an eye on that and spot seal it later this year. Everything looks fine. And obviously, I'm walking all over up here, and above the bathroom vent, they even put the little vent cover, so you can have some anytime, all the time airflow, which is very handy if you're full-time living in one of these things like the folks were, because just from that many people just existing in the RV, just from breathing, the moisture that comes out when you breathe could build up condensation in the RV, so being able to exhaust that is pretty darn awesome and valuable. So, there you have it. Hitching, pieces, parts, trades, finance, truck and trailer package deals, RV delivery, and everything between. We do it all at Haylett RV of Coldwater, Michigan. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.